Guys, it's been a while since I made a video, so I want to kind of bring the opportunity or take this opportunity to show you a really quick and simple edit on doing powder rooms with these big ass mirrors in front of us. I want to show you my techniques. There's a couple of ways to do it, and I'm going to show you both ways. So let's get started. So the first shot is the setup and the composition, and as you can see from here, I got the flash that's above the camera or on top. Actually, I held it up high above my head. And there is the hotspot right up here on the right hand corner. So you can do this a couple of ways. One way is you can take an ambient shot and you can blend that in by doing luminosity mask. So I'm going to show you how to do that. And then the other way is to take a flash, or my flash that I had on my stand, bring it into this corner, flash it, and then blend this part and use a lot of the shadows for direction for the other method. So let's take all three of these into Photoshop. So we're going to edit, open as layers in Photoshop. We'll bring that in. Okay, so we're all set up and loaded here. So just to point out a couple of things, you know, with real estate photography, this would be obviously more than good enough. You know, personally, I don't like the hotspot. You could have did HDR on this, which is not something I do. But I mean, there's a lot of different methods of doing it. In this particular case, this house was so nice that I wanted to make sure I captured a lot of things in this image. So the first thing I did was I actually stepped as far back as I could, try to get the width, and I'm using a Sony 12 to 24 lens. So, and the reason why I caught this door in here and you know, the door handle and everything is because I want to show the beauty of all this trim work that's in here, including the door that comes with it. So I felt that this case, this was a situation where I didn't have to hide this door. I didn't have to try to avoid it. I actually like it, and I want it to be there. I'm going to crop this right side down afterwards. However, again, you know, showing all this trim work around the window and everything to me was important. Now you can see here the shadow in the wrong direction for the fan and the light fixture because obviously the flash is back here. So let me take you into how to do this. So let's get rid of this. And let's actually pull that down to the bottom because that's going to be our main image. Okay, so that's the base image of what we're going to start with. So two methods of doing this are this way. So number one, the one that I usually use, it's kind of a quick and dirty way of doing it, but it works, is you take this image here and then you're going to go ahead and press Option, and then you're going to press the mask tool down here on the bottom. Now that will bring up the mask tool here in black, and this allows me to paint in what I want. So I'm going to paint in this part, but I'm just going to use a luminosity feature. I can't even speak, it's so early in the morning. I'm going to open up that brush, and basically from there I am going to make sure my flow is to about 10% and make sure we're on white, and there it goes. So slowly we're just going to paint in. Computer's really slow this morning. Sorry guys, I gotta close down some programs here because it is running really slow. Okay, I gotta make that brush smaller, and I'm gonna go ahead and so you can see one of the problems that comes up with this is that you start getting different tones. So you can see that it's just not as crisp when you do that. So, you know, I'll put it back to normal, see what it looks like, and that doesn't work. Put it back to luminosity, try to bring the fill down, that doesn't help. So in this particular case, it's not something like I would have to really blend in a lot more of this door in this area here to kind of make it look like it all works. But to me, it just kind of shows, like I can get really fine detail and put a mask tool around the mirror and avoid the ceiling and whatnot. But I just don't feel like the quality of the image or the lighting and the detail is going to be the same in this situation because of the panels. And this big mirror puts off a lot of other different tones and reflections. So this luminosity to me is not something that's going to work. So But in other situations, it does. It does work for me, and I do use this often when I can. But again, I just think in this situation, for what I have going on here, it's not going to work. So I'm going to take that and shut that off. What I am going to use is I'm going to basically pull this image. I'm going to do the same thing. I go ahead and press Option, and then I'm going to have my mask, and I'm going to go ahead here and start painting in and revealing. You're going to go ahead and brush in the black part, or the black mask, with okay. And you want to be very careful not to overdo it. Now you can start seeing I get a hot spot here, and this is where I'm going to have to kind of use that other mask, the ambient, in order to kind of get what I want, because I have so much reflections here. I can't brush in or brush away that shadow again because I have the flash right over here. So there's going to be a little bit of work that I have to do to kind of make this perfect, and it's going to be a mixture of the two. But in general, what I want to kind of show you is getting rid of that hot spot and that flash up in this corner. Okay. Now look at the sink down here in the bottom, and you're going to notice what we're going to do is we're going to paint in that layer as well. And then what happens is we're going to get the shadows and the directions to look like as if it's coming from that right light source, which is the window. So all the way down. Okay, I mean, we're talking about, you know, even, there we go. All right, so let's just see the difference here. Okay, so on and off, you can definitely see, you know, again, from the hot spot here, the flash, and also the sink. Take a look at the sink. When you're looking at this, look at the difference in the shadows. It's just so subtle, but you can tell. Look at the sink here, because that shadow direction is supposed to look like it's coming from the window source. And when you turn that on, definitely you see the shadow going in that direction. So the other part that I noticed would have to be over here. So we're going to try to see what it looks like with the door. Again, shadow direction means that, there we go. So you can start to kind of see, you should see more details in this trim work. And again, the shadow direction should change. Okay. So we got that little subtle change on the left-hand side here. So I'm going to use all that. All right, so let's get rid of this mask. We're going to delete it because we want that one. And we're going to, again, pull that, and let's get into some fine details here. So we're going to go ahead and take our tool, and we're going to basically try to get what we feel. This is kind of tricky here because, you know, we do have the ceiling, we do have the mirror, but let's just try to get as much as we can here in the correct, without overdoing it. So let's bring it up to this door, and then we'll bring it up this way, we'll bring it across, bring it over. All right, so that mask means I'm only going to be able to adjust and paint in this part, so it looks like I'm going to be able to, oops, I'm going to change my paintbrush. Okay. So that's getting rid of the shadows, but you can see here as I go across it, it's not going to change any other parts, so it's going to help me maintain the look there, the ceiling, without kind of overbrushing and going into different parts. Okay, now I'm going to bring this in. Now what I noticed is the light fixture obviously changed the look because I blended in a lot of the other shadows. So I'm just going to basically bring the light bulbs back in here as soon as I can zoom in. All right, so let's take the brush. Let's press black. Let's make that brush really small. So all I'm doing here is I'm trying to paint in so we can get that chrome. Now I'm not getting really detailed. You can get a lot finer obviously, but again, this is for real estate. If it was for an interior design, I would be taping all this off, but you know, time is money, and in this case, it's supposed to be something simple. All right, so we got some of that back in. All right, so let's go back. Now, one of the other things that we could do to help this is we're going to click on the image mode adjustment. We're going to bring down that brightness of, you see the difference there? Let me move this out of the way. So we're going to bring down the brightness of the ambient so that it helps tone that down and look a little bit more natural. Okay, so we're going to bring that down. Sometimes we'll bring the contrast up. In this case, we're just going to leave it. And we're going to bring that down. All right, so that part is done. Now let's just take a look at something. We're going to go back to normal. And I'll fluctuate between these two, normal and luminosity, to really see if there's a difference. A little bit, but not really much. It works. All right, so that part is done. Now we do see one other little item right up here. So we're going to get rid of the mask tool now. We're going to open this up, and I'm going to paint in part of the shadows that I can see here. Get rid of that. There we go. All right. All right, guys. I think that's pretty much it. We got rid of all of the shadows in the right direction. Now, okay, guys. So one other little thing I noticed down here, I had to go back, is right there. Notice that shadow around the toilet paper. That is from the flash that's, again, above my camera. So I'm going to have to brush this in, get rid of the shadows there. Okay. And that is because I had... Okay. So now that's done. So let's go ahead and do that again. Flatten image. Okay, guys, so that is pretty much done. I'm going to do some last little bit of adjustments. We're going to increase the clarity a little bit to get some detail. The dehazing, I find certain situation works. This one, in this case, it doesn't. We're going to, where's the other one? We're going to do our lens distortion, profile, remove. That will take away, oops, Sony. There we go, that fixed that. We'll do an auto adjustment and constraining crop to make sure we get rid of any little white marks. In this case, it didn't work, so we're just gonna have to crop a little bit of that white section there out. Done. And that's pretty much it, guys. So let's go to our brush. Now what I want to do here, the sole purpose of this is I'm just going to add a little bit of details and highlights to this cabinet, add a little bit of drama to it. Okay, that's it, done. And I find that it's a little bit too gray, so I'm going to add a little bit of warmth back to the shot. Right about there. Awesome. All right, so that is it. That's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed that little quick tutorial. Unfortunately, it would have been a lot faster if my computer was faster, but I just wanted to kind of show you a little quick method of getting this shot, which started off, and then getting rid of this hotspot and flash, which I don't like seeing. Using a little bit of this ambient to help with some of the shadows and directions, but ultimately using this flash in this corner to set this off. You know, if I didn't have this big mirror, the challenge wouldn't have been as difficult, but you know, it happens and you got to learn how to adapt to these different situations. So there's our final image. Hope you enjoyed that little quick tutorial on how to do powder room photography, or into this situation, how to kind of get rid of hotspots using different layers with your flash. So guys, all the best. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And if you like some more of these videos, please go ahead and smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe. All the best, guys. See you until the next time.